Welcome back to the On Point podcast, and I'm here with...
Gregg Buckner. Nice to see you again.
Yes, for the OGs, y'all know who this is. He decided, Pastor wanted him to preach today because Pastor needed time off. No, I'm just playing. But you preached about a subject, and the title was, The Time is Short.
Yeah.
What was the inspiration of that message? Why that?
The truth was,
Thank you all for joining us for another episode of On Point, where we dive deeper into Sunday morning's message. If you enjoy this, please like, subscribe, and share this with anyone who might be interested. We are available on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Enjoy.
For a while now, there's a lot of stuff out there in social media and church Christian claimed things, and I want to be careful because I don't think anything is meant to be hurtful or derogatory, but there are a lot of things that are out there that I consider to be partial truths, or people send things out under the guise of hurt, and so they look for things that will help them cope and feel better, and sometimes it's at the expense of others. And I think it was important just to kind of refresh and remind everybody that this message that we believe it's still the same,
right,
and it still requires a little bit more than just I love him and he loves me.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
It sounds like it's been washed down a little bit. Is that what you're trying to get at?
Yeah, and washed down. Also, like if you oppose that thought, or if you come with anything else harder than that, sometimes it's perceived as you're judging others or you don't love people.
Right.
It's almost, you can't be more than just that washed down, or you're
right.
considered kind of a zealot. You know.
Yeah. So how would you say do we approach it then?
I think we got to go after the Word. I think we have to be faithful to His Word. We can't be apologetic about what we know to be true. We have to be kind and loving, but we have to be determined that regardless of what people feel about the message, we're still going to try to live the message.
Right. I was always told facts over feelings. You know.
Sure.
And that's
that's
how I see it. That's how I see it. You know, I wanted to ask a question because I didn't get a chance to actually hear the story. I heard you mention it because I was doing stuff back here with the Sunday school kids.
Yeah.
I walked in and you had mentioned a starfish, and to me I was like, okay, what is he talking about? Random starfish. But I was wondering if you could tell that story, because apparently it was a story that you told, and I didn't get a chance to hear it, and they said it was a pretty good one.
It's actually one of my favorites. I've used it probably more times than I should, but the story goes, there's a little girl walking on the beach, and there's a bunch of starfish that got washed ashore because of the tide, and she started walking the beach and throwing as many as she could. She'd pick them up and put them back in the water, and there was a man watching her. And he watched for a while as she just continued to do this. And he finally yelled out at her. He said, do you realize that what you're doing isn't going to make a difference? There are thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of starfish out there. Right. What do you think you're going to do? And she stopped for a minute, and she looked at him, and then she looked down and picked up a starfish, threw it in the water, and said, well, I made a difference in that one. And the point of the message is we can't meet everybody. We can't help everybody. We can help, but we can help somebody.
Right.
You know, we can make a difference in somebody's life.
Right. And in the notes, I put the world. Hold on. It changes the world by changing you. When people see the change in you, they are listen. You know.
Yeah.
And I kind of, you said you can't change everyone. You can't help everyone, but you can help that one person.
Right.
And in order to help them, they got to see there's a difference with you.
Yeah.
And I kind of see that when you talked about that starfish right there.
Yeah.
In order to help someone, you got to be able to help them. You got to be saved yourself. So how important is it for them to see that change in you, to see the difference in you? Yeah,
I think it's important. I think it's vital. But you have to be careful because humanity is just that. It's flawed. It's human. There's failures there. So, when I tried to portray that in the message today, that there's going to be failures, even in your progress, even in your pushing towards trying to be closer to who God wants you to be. And that's not that we're looking to it to like just make it okay, but we have to understand it's a part of growth. Right. And but ultimately, my message that I kind of tried to push for today was with Paul. He said, I'm going to do everything I can to be ready for everybody that I might save some.
Right.
Meaning, even if you do the right thing with a lot of people, there may be those that just don't want it, but you got to keep going for those that do.
Right.
You know?
And I guess we can't be discouraged for the ones that, I feel like that can discourage some people though. You know,
Sure.
you try your hardest to, you know, win these people over, you feel like it's not listening, but I guess we just got to keep pushing, right? We just got to
Right.
keep pushing because you never know who you can save. You never know who could be that one, you know?
Yeah.
I've got my own testimonies where the ones I wasn't trying to win over
Yeah.
were the ones that recognized the difference, you know?
Yeah.
And I've always emphasized this to a lot of people, like I've taught Bible studies about it. Got to be holy at all times because you don't know who's watching you. You don't know who's paying attention.
Yeah.
You know, some people may be looking for that downfall you have, but some people are looking for that difference that you are, you know?
Sure.
And I guess it kind of correlates back to what was in the notes, you know? They got to see the change, you know? If you want to change people, they got to see the change in you first.
Yeah.
And, hopping to the next question, I wanted you to retell that other story you told about that atheist guy. I thought that was a really cool one. I was wondering if you could retell that one.
Yeah, for sure. Before I do, I want to mention that sometimes it's not always the people that we are targeting that we get in our mind. At least I do, where I get a set people. These are the folks that I really think I'm going to have a good shot.
Right.
But sometimes those folks don't convert or don't receive it. But then there's somebody off to the side that you weren't even looking at that
Right.
just all of a sudden catches on. You think of like a Savion or people like that you know in your peripheral that are there, but you're not looking. It reminds me that I have to be aware of. I don't have the cheat sheet to know who's going to be hungry for this,
Right.
and I can't dismiss somebody because of my preconceived ideas. So,
Right.
but the story, Penn and Teller is a famous magician group, and they've been on Vegas Strip for years and years. Most everybody know them, and Penn is a very outspoken atheist, and he had a man come to one of his shows, and he said the man was very genuine and talked to him about just faith, gave him a Bible, and he said, "Look, I'm not crazy. I'm not. I'm a businessman." And he said, Penn said he received it. He was still an atheist, but
Right.
he respected the man's message, and he said, basically, anybody that's not out there fighting, if you really believe that heaven and hell are real, and you're not fighting to keep people from it, how much do you hate people?
Right.
And he said, I don't believe it, but I respected the message that man said to me. And he goes, if I believed somebody was going to get hit by a truck, I would only wait so long before I would go tackle them, whether they believed it or not.
Right.
And just pushing us to action as Christians, like if we believe what we say we believe, then we need to be more intentional about it. You know?
Yeah, without a doubt. I actually said in the last episode with Pastor that, you know, we say we have faith in this, say faith in that, and then just do nothing.
Yeah.
But I've always said faith is a call to action. You know, it's not just to sit still. You got to, when you say you have faith, if you have faith in God, we have things we have to do. You know what
Sure.
I mean? If you have faith in God, we have people that we got to spread this gospel to. And we're not just going to do that by just sitting around.
Yeah.
And we can't just, as you say, let them get hit by the truck. You know, we
Yeah.
got to do everything we can to stop them, to warn them, you know, hey, something is coming, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really cool story when you brought that up.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, I wanted you to, what's something you want to encourage people about this whole message? Like, what's the point you want to get across?
I think there's a lot of different points I would pull from this. I mean, my main focus, I would say, is twofold. It's number one, that people need to not be apologetic about having a standard, holding themselves accountable to what God has for them.
Right.
Don't be ashamed. Don't be apologetic because maybe that standard is different than what the world wants to tell you.
Right.
You don't have to water down your faith. It doesn't make you judgmental or hater if you don't feel or follow or believe some of the things that this world wants to give you. And the second thing is just keep pushing. And when you fall, because you will, when you make mistakes, because you will, get back up, seek after God, and go for it again. That's the message I would want.
All right. Well, thank you. Well, that's all the questions I had for you today.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
At some point, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the entire episode. If you found this enjoyable, please like, share, and subscribe to help spread the message. We post to Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube every week. You can catch the entire sermon on all those feeds. We would also love to see you in person at North Point Apostolic Church at 3544 Vernon Road, Stowe, Ohio, every Sunday at 10 a.m.